So good evening class, my name is Juliet and I'm going to take you through air pollution. So our objectives today is air pollution. We are going to define the term pollutant and the term air pollution. Then we shall look at the classification of air pollution, and finally we shall look at the effects of air pollution. So under air pollution, let us look at the term pollutant. What is a pollutant? A pollutant or a novel entity is a substance or energy introduced into the environment that has undesired effects or adversely affect the usefulness of a resource. So when a substance is introduced into the environment and the substance affects the usefulness of the resource, or it affects the organisms in the environment, we refer to it as a pollutant. Then our second term is air pollution. Air pollution, we say it is the contamination of either indoor or outdoor environment by any chemical, biological, or physical agent that modifies the natural characteristics of the atmosphere. So the pollutant can be either chemical, it can be a physical agent, or it can be a biological agent that affects the natural characteristics of the atmosphere. So it can either affect the atmosphere by bringing the odor, which, because we know the atmosphere is supposed to be odorless. So that is our first objective. Our second objective is on classification of air pollutants. Air pollutants can be classified into two, where we have the primary pollutants and the secondary pollutants. So the primary pollutants, from our definition, they are pollutants that are emitted directly from the source and persist in the form in which they are added in the environment. They affect the environment in the form in which they are emitted. Then the secondary pollutants, they are those pollutants that form from the reaction between primary pollutants and primary pollutants, or primary pollutants and the substances in the air like the water vapor. So the primary pollutants can be divided also further into gaseous pollutants and solid pollutants. So under gaseous pollutants, we have the notorious greenhouse gases, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide, carbon oxides, volatile organic compounds. Then we have ammonia. We also have methane on this side. Then under solid pollutants, we have the particulate matters and we have the metals. The metals include the lead and mercury. And one would ask, how does lead and mercury find themselves in the atmosphere? You remember the form of disposal of waste that is called incineration. When chemicals are incinerated that contain mercury and lead, the aerosols are emitted into the atmosphere, which contain these metals, and hence they form part of the primary pollutants. When you inhale these metals or the particulate matters, they can lead to chronic respiratory ailments. These gaseous pollutants form part of the greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases, as we all know, they form the greenhouse effect, which causes global warming. We all know the effects of global warming in the atmosphere. So when these gases are emitted in the atmosphere, they will cause global warming. These gases, when they are emitted in the atmosphere, affect the ozone layer. The ozone layer is depleted by the greenhouse gases. So the greenhouse gases are serious gaseous pollutants. So we also have methane as part of the gaseous pollutant, and methane is produced from the waste fields. When waste is dumped in the fields, methane is produced during decomposition. It is also part of a greenhouse pollutant. Are we together? Hello, are we together? Okay, so there we have looked at the gaseous pollutants. We have looked at the solid pollutants as part of the primary pollutants. Now, our next type of pollutant is